You're live. You're live.
This is a protest and I hope the police can hear. It is directed at the police. I am an elderly senior citizen. I pay £170 a year out of my council tax to a police crime commissioner who isn't fit for purpose. Now I don't want to hear of any threats of murder, any threats of intimidation regarding members of the public on social media and others. I asked for help in 2020 to the Chief Constable of Ian Hopkins of Greater Manchester Police regarding my serious concerns of alleged threats of murder. I don't want to hear it. And have we got a two-tier system of policing within this town where politicians have more of a say and are governed and protected by police? I don't want it. I pay £170 to my personal view of a not fit for purpose crime commissioner. Now I know we have a new district commander. I've read the paper today and his name is Chris Bowen, and he said he can't clean up the allegations in Oldham on his own. He said he needs a partnership. Well, I don't trust our council. And if our council is in partnership with the police, you need to hear our views. It is I, a senior citizen, who is frightened to death of what's going on social media regarding allegations of murder, postal vote fraud, corruption within the police. All I want to know is it true or is it not true? Now I know that the crime commissioner, Andy Burnham, has failed in what he's supposed to do. He's failed. His job as a crime commissioner was to oversee and make sure what the police do to protect us. Now, as far as I can see, 80,000 crimes not even bothered to be looked at, of all blaming it on whether it is or whether it isn't, I don't know, of a new system of computing, and yet our Prime Minister a few weeks ago said that the disruption in Greater Manchester wasn't really a government issue, it was down to a crime commissioner, Andy Burnham, a politician, a career politician who in my opinion isn't fit for the job. Now before I came out last week, I read last week's Yorkshire Post, and there is a position in Yorkshire on the 24th of this month to elect a new crime commissioner. The man who's standing is an ex-police officer, and in that page advert promoting what he wants to achieve, he says we want policies, not politics. And we all know that as soon as we're born to dying, we are governed by politics. And we have had bad politicians, we have had bad police. There has been badness in every form of our society. But it's only good, honest people who the police and the council and the government need to know. We can't carry on in this state. We are in a bad state. But where we have a gentleman on social media, and I agree, allegations of vigilantes running around the streets with machetes, postal vote fraud, people frightened of going out at night, corruption, allegations of corruption within Greater Manchester Police. Have we got it? Now, 3 weeks ago, on national radio, lunchtime, I forget his name. His Radio 2. He could come to me. And the allegations were that even the Prime Minister has said there is going to be a stronger protection for whistleblowers within the police. Because there are some police forces, hopefully not in Oldham, hopefully not in the Greater Manchester, where police officers have known there to be corruption, and every police officer has a panic button on his intercom, and when that policeman needs assistance, a spokesman, it's Jeremy Vine, he was on the Jeremy Vine programme, corruption within the police. And on that programme, he stated that if a police officer was in fear of his life and he whistle blew against other police officers, it would be assumed that if he pressed his panic button, no one would attend. Absolutely disgraceful. So, to our newly elected Chris Boyne, Oldham District Commander, please listen to us. I hope somebody from the police is videoing it. I hope somebody from the police will either contact me next week regarding my grave concerns, because in the headlines to my letter to Ian Hopkins, Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, last year, help, help, help. That were the headlines. So from a senior citizen, frightened to death with what's going on, and the partnership once again that's been emphasised in this article, that he cannot do it on his own. He needs a partnership. Well, how a council, unless it's absolutely made crystal clear that they did not cover up historic child grooming, then please be very wary of getting involved with our council. We have had a police officer, high-ranking police officer, elected still as a councillor. He is a liaison officer within our council to Greater Manchester Police, who sat on 3 years ago against his colleague, his mate, his long-standing friend of the Lib Dem. He went through a standard committee hearing, and this ex-police officer, who I believe is still a liaison officer within this council to Greater Manchester Police, sat on a panel to get his mate off, in my opinion, because he did not declare a conflict of interest. No, it's sad. It's very sad that an elderly gentleman, retired, has had to have the guts to stand up, because I don't feel as though it's worth £170 out of my council tax to pay into a promoted how he got the job of our police commissioner when he didn't even reply. I'm talking of Andy Burnham, our police commissioner, who even the Prime Minister said it really isn't the police, it's down to the police commissioner. And in an article that I downloaded from a gentleman who's raised the same concerns as I have regarding what's going on in Oldham, he has passed the buck. Our elected crime commissioner, and I didn't vote for the man, and I think that crime commissioners should be stopped. And we should have clean up regarding whether we have corrupt police officers. And I would suggest that we emphasise we cannot continue to have all these allegations regarding what's going out on social media. I don't want to see that two ex-police officers, well, they weren't ex-police, I worded it wrong, that two young women were shot dead, and that our elected leader of our council is hanging off the arm of a convicted getaway driver of Dale Creedon that shot to death them two police women. I don't want to hear it. It's causing me distress. It's causing me anxiety. I don't want to hear it. What I want to hear is, are the allegations on social media correct, or are they not? Now, there's a gentleman who's brought up all the allegations of the historic child sex grooming, and he's been condemned. He's on bail. He's on bail for what? What's he be on bail for? Opening up the truth. Now, we either have truth and honesty, or we've still got corruption. Now, have we got a two-tier system, like I said to the Chief Constable, Ian Hopkins, when he was in charge of Greater Manchester Police? Is there a two-tier system? I've just told you, I made a complaint against a councillor who lied and deceived while he was in office. I asked for his help. I made a complaint through the council, the proper procedure. And it was a standards complaint system, and they allowed his long-standing mate, his colleague, an ex-policeman, high-ranking ex-policeman, on a three-man panel that got him off. He did not declare a conflict of interest, and that man who I made the complaint about was had to place himself on the child sex offenders register, and this council covered it up. So please, new commander of Oldham Police, when you set partnerships, please be careful on the partnerships that you get yourself involved in. A partnership of councils who have been openly accused on Facebook for being corrupt. If the police want to know, what about the postal vote fraud? What about the postal vote fraud? Have we done anything regarding postal vote fraud? We have had 37% of the electorate bother to vote. And in the People's Museum down at Spinning Fields, Manchester, in 2017, and as far as I am aware, it still stands today, a plaque. And that plaque states that 200 years ago, the British political system in this country was corrupt. And the only way that ordinary working people could get themselves better was to vote. Well, we vote. The people who vote still don't get nowhere. And I do not want to keep hearing of corruption regarding the council, the police. I have wrote to Boris Johnson myself regarding my serious concerns. I have yet to have a reply in 1 month. 2 years ago, I wrote to a government minister over local authorities. Still got no reply. What use is it voting? Now you the police know, because you are governed by bad politics yourself. It was only a few years ago that off-duty policemen marched down Westminster. They marched down Whitehall, off-duty, regarding the pay scale, where you officers are put in danger. But you are also, we, the public, are put in danger by bad politics. So I stress once again, please, to all the police officers, to the police commanders, do not knuckle under to politics. Do not knuckle under to people who want to cut your life. You're there to represent us, and we need you. We need you to protect us on the streets. We pay £170 into a police crime commissioner that has done bugger all. In the end of this article I was given it today, and it's something that I said I'd read out regarding Chris Bowen, and at the end he says, "We will be held to account by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, Fire and Rescue. Local politicians are mostly important the public." You've got that right. Mostly important the public. Local politicians, in my opinion, have got away with their positions, and I am so sad of anybody who has lost their lives representing politics. But we are honest people in this country, and they know the British have a British take it on the chin attitude. But what we must remember is our coat of arms is 3 English lions. And the old saying is that you will continue to twist that lion's tail till it turns round and roars. I shouldn't have to come here. I shouldn't have to waste my time. I should be able to rely on our police, and I know that you are governed by bad politics. You're governed by a career politician like Andy Burnham, who's passed the buck down to you, that you, the police, are having to take the count for that man. That man. I had dealings with that man when I needed his help, when Phil Wallace was our Labour MP. And he was a government minister. And twice, my local MP, Phil Wallace, did not get the courtesy of a reply. What use is it voting? No wonder 67% of the public don't bother to vote.
Well, you want me to put it there?
Can do, Warren.
Why I've come this morning.
I will stress again.
Take it down, lad.
They were a chatty, and they were a very, very good friend of the sadly shot to death young woman, Yvonne Fletcher, in 1984. And the worst thing is, remember this, police, it was a gagging order. A gagging order placed on anybody that no information could be released until after 30 years. A gagging order. It was one of your own lying dead in front of the Iranian embassy, shot to death. Bad politics. So I know there are good police officers out there, and I am pleading to those good police officers, don't let us down. And all the police hierarchy, with those despicable councillors who placed a wreath, I've seen it this week, from the police, from the councillors, at the foot of our cenotaph. Did you feel a lump in your throat? Did you feel as the service was going on? Did you feel tears running down your face and a choking? Then you were feeling what they died for. If you felt nothing, you were giving them lip service to show yourselves as though you are honestly grateful to what them lads did. It's absolutely scandalous. And I know that we have got ex-high-ranking police officers, liaison officer from this council to this police who sat on a panel against his child sex pervert, had to place himself on the sex offenders register for 10 years, and they said nothing. So please, I stress again. 2. Chris Bowen, Oldham's District Commander. Please be careful on when you partnership and who you partnership up with. You've got my name, you've got my address, you've got my telephone number. And when we have got a leader of our council on Facebook, and this is why I stress what is right, what is wrong. A gentleman who owns it up of the allegations of historic child grooming, who has been threatened as being accused of a police informer, who's been put on bail without being charged, who's had
illegal bail. Illegal.
The gentleman said illegal bail. I don't know. I'm not an official. I only know what I hear on Facebook. And it's alarmed me. And it's like the first 3 words, once again, that were sent to the Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, Ian Hopkins. Help! 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 A cry for help. For vulnerable people. We don't want politicians of any sort having a say on what our police do. And we want our police, if they are, knowingly know of any form of corruption to whistleblow, because there are people out here who have got your backs. There are people out here like where there are any, like the arena attack. It was members of the public. It was a taxi driver that stopped a bombing. And you will always get heroes within the public to help them defenceless and other members of the public in peril. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear of all these allegations. I don't want to hear of corrupt policemen. I don't want to hear that a gangster hangs off the arm of our leader of the council, who was the getaway driver of Gail Creedon, who shot to death 2 young police women, where Yvonne Fletcher, 1984, was gunned down, and no one could attend her. And even after the 30 years silencing order, gagging order, for only last week, a friend has said he will fight for justice. You're putting yourselves in harm's way, and all we want to know is you have armed response. You can defend yourselves. We've got you lot to defend us. And whether it were a computer or not, 80,000 cases. And we had an elected crime commissioner who failed in his duty and has passed the buck down to you, the police. He wants booting out. Our crime commissioner, not fit for purpose. Give him a job. I'd love to see him as a traffic warden. Let him do an actual job.